RPM tonight, we'll have the news from Richmond. No lightweights there as the Busch Series regulars go head-to-head with the Cup guys under the lights. Dale Jarrett won it last year. Can the 88 crew light his way to being the first two-time winner in 2000? Stacy Compton is looking to outshine the star rookies and find his own place in the spotlight. NHRA funny car drivers Jerry Tolliver and Jim Epler stop by for a tag team match on their way to light 'em up in Atlanta. Jack Sprague joins us via satellite as he tries to make the gateway to the West the gateway to victory in Sunday's Craftsman Truck Series Ram Tough 200. RPM tonight, next.
Going green, this time 5, going green, this time 5. Bring them down.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. Welcome to RPM Tonight. The bad week for the Penske Cranafis team got even worse on Thursday afternoon. NASCAR announced that it had fined crew chief Peter Suspenzo $25,000 because Sunday's winning car, driven by Jeremy Mayfield at California, was found to be under the specified height requirement. Tuesday, NASCAR suspended Suspenzo until June 6 because of altered fuel found in the car after the Talladega race. It also fined car owner Michael Cranafis $50,000 and took away 151 points in both the drivers and owners standings for that infraction. NASCAR also announced that it had fined Dale Earnhardt's crew chief Kevin Hamlin $2,000 for rules violations discovered in inspection prior to Sunday's race at California. The part in question was an unapproved rear bumper on the number 3 car. Formula One driver David Coulthard flew to Barcelona on Thursday just 48 hours after he escaped injury in a plane crash in France. The 2 pilots flying that Learjet were killed, and this afternoon Coulthard, who's in Barcelona for this weekend's Spanish Grand Prix, spoke publicly about the crash for the first time.
During the flight, the co-pilot informed us that we had an engine problem and would have to make an emergency landing at Lyon, which would be in about 10 minutes' time. We had time to prepare ourselves prior to the landing in the brace position. On impact, the plane wing tanks ruptured and there was a fire on the right-hand side of the aircraft. When the plane finally came to a rest, the front of the cockpit had broken free from the main fuselage. Once we were all clear of the plane, I returned to the plane to see if there was anything I could do for the pilots, but there was nothing I could do. In less than a minute, the emergency services arrived and took over. I would like to express our thanks to the French emergency services and airport authorities for their professional and swift response.
Coulthard won the last time out in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and Autosport magazine reports that the organizers of that event are to be summoned before the World Motorsports Council on June 21st. A statement from the FIA says incidents during qualifying, practice, and the race and the treatment of the general public are grounds for this action. Apparently, the FIA wasn't too happy with the way organizers at Silverstone handled all the rain that weekend. Champ Car driver Patrick Carpentier will sit out at least one more race to allow his broken wrist to heal. That means Mimo Gidley will once again drive for Carpentier next weekend on the oval at Japan. Sunday at Rio, Gidley finished 8th in his first race on an oval track. Doctors say Carpentier's range of motion was not sufficient enough to allow him to drive in the May 13th event at Twin Ring Motegi. They say Virginia is for lovers, and Mark Martin loves Richmond. 5 of Martin's 44 Busch wins have come at the action track, with 3 of those coming in the spring race. After a few weekends concentrating on his Winston Cup ride, Martin is ready to double dip once again.
We run these things however they fall, you know, we give them our best shot, and we've got a lot of racing so far this year, and we've got a lot of racing left to go. We try to win every race, no matter what. We always have, and we have for years. We have a great race team. They've done a good job so far this year, and we'll give them our best here and take whatever we can get.
Last week's trip to California proved bittersweet for Matt Kenseth. You might even say it was a roller coaster weekend. Kenseth started off by picking up his 9th Busch Series win, but in Sunday's Winston Cup race, he saw a legitimate shot at victory go up in smoke with a late caution that dropped him back to a 3rd-place finish. Still a career best.
Last weekend was definitely a huge positive for both teams. We ran really good, and you know, I'm really proud of you know, how fast the cars they've got built for me, and you know, how far they've came on pit road and everything. So I'm looking forward to running here. Tim Fedewitz's season is not going as planned. He has yet to crack the top 10 in a race, and last week failed to qualify at Fontana. But a tough season on the track hasn't translated to misery off of it. A week in which some in his position would lose sleep, Fedewitz spent his time riding his motorcycle in the Kyle Petty charity ride.
like one of my friends said that it was first time on the ride. He said that the ride was great, and couldn't imagine being any better until we got to Children's Hospital, to see the look in their eyes, to see, you know, when they see the King walk in, they see Kyle and Adam and Steve Park and all the other riders that come along with us to support the ride. I mean, to see them kids light up, I mean, it made their day, and you know, that's something special to see, and we're just glad that we could do something like that to help them out.
While most Busch teams' week ends after Friday night's Hardee's 250, it's just beginning for a few. Lyndon Amick and Hank Parker Jr. will fly to Homestead to co-drive an entry in the Motorola Cup Series road racing event on Saturday.
The biggest thing for us is just to get experience road racing. When we go to Watkins Glen with the Busch cars, we want to be the best we can be, and it's a lot of fun too. So, you know, doing double duty and bad, I did quadruple duty at Daytona earlier this year, so to go do this is going to be a lot of fun.
We're looking forward to it, and it's just another way to gain experience for Watkins Glen. And I enjoy road racing. I enjoy racing. I'm a competitive person, and I feel like we can go down there and have a good shot to win the race, and that's going to be a lot. That's fun to me.
NASCAR is about going fast in the oval, and road racing is a rhythm. And you have to let off here, get back on the gas here. So it's a lot different mindset than you do here. And also, like you said, we're not points racing, so we're going there to win, and that's our main objective. We don't have to worry about points. We don't have to worry about 100 points or anything. We just got there and win.
The Busch cars qualify Friday afternoon, but Thursday the drivers hit the track for practice, and it was Dave Blaney leading the way with the fastest lap. Blaney is driving the number 20 car, normally piloted by Mike Borkowski. In fact, Blaney will replace Borkowski in 3 of the next 4 races in that machine. David Green posted the 7th fastest lap in practice at 120.826 miles an hour. Point leader Jeff Green was 9th fastest, while his teammate Jason Keller wound up 12th on today's timesheets. Shouldn't have to worry about Saturday night's Pontiac Excitement 400 to be anything but exciting. That's because the Richmond International Raceway lends itself to a lot of exciting side-by-side racing. And as we've seen in years past, anything and everything can happen when the Winston Cup stars race under the lights.
3/4 mile is really a pretty dynamite racetrack.
Richmond is a track where you can run inside and you can run outside. And if you've got a fast car, you're not bottlenecked up in traffic.
So I've been up on top of the guardrail, kept on going, and won the race.
These days, the 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway has a rather unique distinction in Winston Cup racing. It's popular with both the drivers and the fans. Fans are treated to a blurring blend of short track banging and big track speed. Drivers face the constant challenge of finding the power needed to get around the track and the space to use it.
Just the right size racetrack for these race cars. Anything smaller than that is a little bit tough to race on, and it's 2 wide racetrack, sometimes 3 wide racetrack. And, you know, it lends itself to that as far as racing on the bottom for a while. Some guys get their car set up on the bottom. Some guys get it set up for the top side.
It's the shape of the racetrack, the size of the racetrack, the way that it's laid out seems to lend itself to running the upper groove a little bit, not just the bottom groove.
The key to winning at Richmond is getting off the second turn. That means making certain you have good grip getting into 1, so you can jump on the gas getting off of 2. The only problem? 42 other guys are trying to do the same thing at the same time. The reason Richmond is so popular is the same reason Richmond is so tough.
It takes a little while for the traffic to settle down, but then you can go to racing, and you can run again on the top, you can run on the bottom, and if you're fast, you can work your way back up through there. And you've got a little elbow room, if you will. And it just seems like it's the perfect combination. Aerodynamics are not critical on that track like they would be at a faster track. But yet it's very similar to a half mile, but yet you have a little bit of super speedway characteristics on it. And I think the biggest thing is that you can pass cars on that racetrack, and that makes it a lot more enjoyable for the driver.
One key reason why Richmond is so popular today is because it was so popular yesterday. A different race at a different place. Richmond made Saturday night small track racing a big event on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was real racing. That's when you slipped and slid and got down in the dirt and the rocks flew up and you leaned into the guardrail and sparks flew. I've been up on top of the guardrail, kept on going, and won the race. So it's pretty hard to do that these days.
I think I remember one of you and Daryl tearing up some equipment there.
Yeah, we did on the old track. We had a pretty heated battle there, and it got pretty heated even more afterwards, so that was fun.
A rough and tumble race with a reputation for thrilling finishes. It's a night that when the lights come on, the stars just get brighter and bolder. Today, like yesterday, Richmond is a revered Saturday night short track ticket.
it's just kind of the perfect size track, in my opinion. It's not a half mile, it's not a mile or a mile and a half. It's, you know, 3/4 of a mile is just the right size track for those cars. And, you know, you're not beating the sides up off of them like you are at Martinsville. So, you know, you get that short track feel, but at the same time, you get to, you know, not kill a car every week going there.
It's a good track for us. You know, we always seem to be real competitive there and qualify up front. And, you know, I've had some great battles with guys there, like Jeff Burton, right down to the wire. I mean, you know, it was inches away from winning that race. But, you know, your fondest memories at any track are when you win.
Jeff Gordon won the pole last year for this race, and the NASCAR Winston Cup stars take to the track for first-round qualifying Friday afternoon at RIR. Watch all the action live on ESPN2 starting at 5:30 Eastern. Later on RPM tonight, Jack Sprague hopes to break through into victory lane this weekend in St. Louis, and former Truck Series driver Stacy Compton looks to earn respect on the Winston Cup Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series hits the Gateway International Raceway this Sunday afternoon for the Ram Tough 200, and you can watch all the action over on ESPN. Our live coverage gets underway at 1:30 Eastern. Watch hometown hero Mike Wallace try to hang on to his point lead. It's the Ram Tough 200 Sunday afternoon only on ESPN. Stacy Compton is a former winner on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but this year he finds himself in a battle with Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for Rookie of the Year honors in Winston Cup. Stacy joins us now, but first off, Stacy, what about that Gateway International Raceway? Is that a good track for the trucks to put on a great show?
I tell you what, it was a heck of a race last year. We had a lot of battling going on. Mike Wallace and I battled down to the very end, and we touched just a little bit right at the very end, and he ended up getting into the wall. I mean, he cut me some slack. He had me where he needed me, but it was a heck of a race. They're going to have a good race there this weekend.
Now, what about the Winston Cup Series? You're 10 races into your rookie season. How would you classify the year so far?
You know, I'd classify our qualifying effort as a B. I would classify our racing so far as probably a C, C minus. Our racing hadn't been quite where we needed, but you got to understand, early in the year, we decided we needed to concentrate on qualifying, and a lot of the test sessions that we took, we worked on qualifying stuff. We knew it was going to be pretty tough to get in a lot of these shows, and our qualifying effort's been really good. The guys with the Kodiak Mellon Taurus has been, they've worked really hard, and we've gotten in all the shows but one on first round, and the one time that we didn't, it was my fault. I got too aggressive at Darlington, and so I mean, it's been pretty good so far.
Are you surprised at just the level of competition, how these guys race hard every single lap?
We talked about it earlier. You know, when I came to Winston Cup, I thought 500 miles, if you've got time to sit back and ride. Well, I tell you what, if you sit back and ride for a lap, you're 10 car lengths back. And these guys, when they drop the green flag, they run as hard as they can possibly run from start to finish. And that's really surprised me a little bit. But it's pretty intense. I mean, from the time you unload until you load up and going home, it's intense.
Now, a lot of the focus on the Rookie of the Year battle has been on Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. You're third in the rookie points. I don't know if that many people know that. Do you sometimes feel like the forgotten man, as much attention is focused on those two other drivers?
Well, sometimes we do, but I think in the scheme of things, it's not a bad thing because there's not a lot of pressure put on us. On the flip side of that, I hate it for Kodiak because I think they deserve every bit the attention that Budweiser and DeWalt's getting, but still yet, it puts us in a good position because we don't have any pressure put on us. We're having a decent year, and we're staying in contention, and I think we're getting a few people's attention anyway.
Now, haven't you guys made some changes in the chassis that you're running?
We have. Of course, we started out the year, we were running a lot of stuff from last year, and we're doing everything in-house now pretty much, and we're starting to build some new chassis. We've got new chassis built basically from, I think, this weekend on. We're going to have new chassis the rest of the year. And they're building as hard as they can now. If I can keep from tearing everything up, we're going to be in pretty good shape for the rest of the year.
You head back home to your home state of Virginia this weekend to race in Richmond. Didn't have a chance to test your Cup car there, but you've got a lot of experience in the truck. Does that translate?
I think it does. I mean, everywhere we've been so far, it has. And I think just the racing end of it does. Last year, we sat on the outside pole with the truck and led a lot of it and feel like we can go there and hopefully be a contender. I wish we would have got to test there, but still yet we tested a lot of other places and we didn't want to give up a test there. But I sure hope it will.
Well, Stacy, it's always good to talk to you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for coming and see us. When we come back, more funny car business from the NHRA. Jerry Tolliver heads to Atlanta this weekend, still sitting on top of the funny car point standings with a total of 512 to John Force's 443. The championship battle looks as if it'll be a close one all year long. It's the top four separated by just 100 points after 6 of 23 events, and then you throw in Tolliver's teammate Jim Epler in the 5th position, and you got one whale of a battle in the making. Jerry Tolliver and Jim Epler join us. Jerry, I guess I'll start with you. You're the point leader, couple wins this year. I guess it's safe to say the season's going pretty well.
The season's going very well. You know, we're doing real well the very first part of the season here. Jim's, I think, number 5 in points. We're number 1, and we're very, very pleased with our progress at this point. Got a great team, great sponsor, and having a lot of fun right now.
Now, Jim, this two-car concept, came together mid to late last year. Is it working pretty good for you?
Oh, it's working real good. Jerry and I started talking about this at the beginning of the year, and an opportunity came up that we could get together before the end of the year, and we started it actually at Indy in hopes that we could have a little time to put the deal together, see how it all works, and then really start out hard in 2000. That's pretty much how it's worked out.
Well, Jerry, you closed out the year with a bang at Pomona by picking up the win. You beat John Force, so you beat the best guy, funny car driver of the last decade. Did that get the momentum rolling for this season?
Well, I mean, obviously that helped us a ton. We switched teams in the off season. We hired veteran crew chief Dale Armstrong and Bob Brooks and Terry Manzer and John Stewart to complete complete our team, and we're very pleased with our progress at this point with those guys. They've done a heck of a job, but that really kind of got us going. Won the last race of the year, and then we rolled into the first race of this year and won that one. So that certainly helped us out a lot. I think the first 4 races we won 3 of them. I think we won 4 out of 5 actually, first 5 races. So the team did. So we're very pleased.
Now, Jim, how does the two-car concept work? I mean, do you guys like I know it's not like a stock car race where setups and stuff, right? Or do you do things similarly?
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind the 2 cars. If you have the chassis the same, and we have the same bodies now with the Z28s, you can get twice as many runs down the drag strip. And as you know, we can't test as much as like the NASCAR guys can. So every time that we make a run, we can get the data from that run. If I run in front of Jerry, for example, his crew chief can use that data and help him to qualify better or to hopefully win another round.
Now, big weekend for you, Jim, right? 100 starts this weekend?
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I can't believe it's 100. That's a long time. You know what, though? The reality set in when at the last race when I heard John Force was #1 qualifier like almost 100 times. All right, I got a ways to go. So 100 starts, that's amazing. But, well, I'm really pleased with how things are going with the Tolliver Racing WWF deal so far.
Yeah, you mentioned WWF. Jerry, you got all those big wrestlers on your side, so I guess nobody in the paddock